Give me a minute and let's talk about Captain Valery Prozapas of the Ukrainian Armed Forces. And Captain Valery here, in this video posted by Radio Svoboda Ukraine on the Tuba-Use there, he says that he would like to see people talking more about how really dangerous and powerful the Russian army is, so that people can understand what the Ukrainian armed forces are facing. And I appreciate that. And I know we make fun of the Russians. They're using outdated equipment. They make a lot of mistakes. The way that they do things is messed up in the worst ways possible. And mocking your enemy is important. But guys, they're a threat. They're not just a threat to Ukraine. They're a threat to the entire civilized world. And as the captain here says, they are dug in. They believe this land is theirs. They have the resource advantage of bodies, of men to just man the front lines and point guns at the Ukrainians. And they shouldn't be underestimated. One of the reasons I think we mock them so bad is that for so long we were so afraid of them. They seemed invincible. They seemed like they really were the second greatest army in the world. And when they poured 250,000 men and machines over the border to take Ukraine, I don't know about you, but I shook my head and said, "Oh, that's a shame. It's going to be over in 3 days. There's no way the Ukrainians are going to push these guys back." But they did. They did the impossible. They made a 3-week operation into what's going on to be a 2-year war. And that's the sacrifice that it takes to make that happen. To push the Russian army out of 54% of the territory that they took in those first weeks. Because that's what it is, right? 54% of the territory the Russians took, they've given up. They've been forced to give up by guys like this, who are out there in the trenches doing the hard work. So look, I'm not saying don't mock the Russians when they do things like blow up their own electronic warfare air equipment like they did today. But understand, the Russians have a lot of resources, and they seem to be just demilitarizing all of Russia to come against Ukraine. We've seen them, all the air defense out of Kaliningrad, all the air defense along the Finnish border, all the air defense from the Kuril Islands. They're grabbing everything that they can and throwing everything in the kitchen sink at Ukraine. And the Ukrainians are defending on their own. And now our supplies, our resources are slowed down getting to them. That's a problem, boy. That's a problem. I said the other night, don't mistake my enthusiasm for Ukrainian successes with a light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah, we can hope for a quick victory, but we got to plan for a long war because there is no light at the end of the tunnel. It's a bad situation all around. I think it is much worse for the Russians. From everything that I have seen, life as a Russian soldier appears to be much harsher, much shorter, much nastier, much more brutish, much more short than life for a Ukrainian soldier. But the Ukrainians are sacrificing their lives in the defense of their nation. And we, who are lucky enough to be sitting at home in our armchairs, should think about the jokes we make. So my hat's off to the captain. And Captain, I hope that that's the kind of thing you want people to hear, that this is a tough fight and you're out there fighting it. Thank you, sir.